Okay, after the chest circles, now we're going to do hip circles. These are different than the omis, different than the interior hip circles. What we do is the legs are hip width apart again, but we keep them straight for the hip circles. They're a neutral movement. So all we do is push the hip to the side. You just want to, again, keep the stomach muscles nice and tight to support the spine in this movement, because you don't want to, as you go back, to get that duck butt. You don't want to hold the muscles so that as you make the circle around, you don't arch the back. You're engaging the stomach muscles for this exercise, so you're getting the best workout. So what we're going to do is just slide the hips to the side, back around, other side, and then just push them in front of you, side, around. And then you don't want to lock your legs, but it is a straight-legged movement. Try the other direction. Push to the side, back around, other side, forward and around. And can you feel that if you're allowing the stomach muscles to control the movement and the hips to push out and around, that you're engaging the muscles as you do this movement? You should feel them working. And from the side, this movement will be held neutral, spine's long, chest lifted. There, I hope you can see that from the side. Okay, now let's do another straight-legged hip movement, just simple hip twists, but this is a good one because it targets the stomach muscles in a different way as well. So the legs are straight. You're just going to twist from the center and push one hip in front of the other. And then we're going to twist from the other side. You'll feel your weight shift side to side just a little bit, but for the most part, the movement really comes from the center. But the same, you want to just keep the torso as long as possible and holding in those muscles and relaxing the shoulders as you do it. And the hips should be relaxed but supporting the movement. And you'll feel this working in a different way. And then we can just do that movement a little bit faster. And you'll feel that targeting the stomach muscles a little bit differently. Okay, now we're going to do snake hips, which may be a little bit more complicated at first, but as you practice it and as you sort of do it in a rep and not thinking about it too much, you get the feel for it pretty quickly. So first, what we want to do is just put your toe forward, and we're going to push the hip up. And we're going to push it up and then out and then drop it down. Make sure to sink nice and low in your knees for this movement, because the knees take the shock of this movement and make it look smooth. The lower you go, the more you have to travel with the hips. But if you get too high, you hit a point where you can't go any farther. But if you're nice and low, you can really push the hip up. So you want to push the hip up, out, and then down. Then shift the weight, push the hip up, out, and then down. Up, out, down, up, out, down. Okay, and then just try and smooth that out. You just keep don't do it too big at first. Just do it how it's comfortable for your hips. Make sure to keep that core nice and long for this movement. So up, out, and down, up, out, and down. And you'll feel this one is a great workout. That's the snake hips. I'm going to try and get a shot in my lower body for this one as well. The snake hips full. You push up, out, around, and down. Switch the weight. Push up, out, and around, and down. Keep the weight low. Bent knees. Up and around. Up and around. Tight stomach muscles. Relaxed shoulders. Nice and smooth. Okay, now let's do a movement that combines those hip twists and hip circles together. So it's called a figure eight. What we're going to do is we're first going to twist the hip so that your right hip's forward. Then you're going to push it out and let it come back. And then this hip's ready to come forward. So it's twisted forward, push it out, around, and come back. This hip's ready. Out and around, out and around. And the hip that's going out and around should be the weight-bearing leg, and the leg should be straight. The other leg can soften to allow the hip to move around the foot. And we shift the weight to the left, push the hip out and around that foot. Shift the weight, out and around that foot. Out and around, out and around. See how it makes a nice 8 shape with the hips. And as you do this, lifted, tight stomach muscles, long, and you'll feel this working. You can do it small, whatever's comfortable for your hips. Wider stance, smaller stance, everybody's hips are different. Relax in the movement. And then you can kind of really sit into it and make it a little bit bigger and try it out. Okay. So that's a breakdown of the movements, and then I'm going to put them all together into a rep, and you can practice them and give you a little bit of a workout, allow the movements to flow into each other. You don't have to think about it quite as hard, but it's going to give you the workout for the core, and you're really going to feel it as long as you're holding your body right, keeping that posture, really thinking about working during the movements. You're going to get a really nice workout for your stomach muscles.